Hello, everybody, and welcome to Business 7130, Strategic Management. Now, this is a course that is sort of a bit difficult, and yet it's very interesting. It's difficult because you have to be learning about issues related to strategic management, where you hear everyone talks about strategic management, and it seems like everyone knows what they are talking about. But yet, when you get to the details, you see that it's not that clear, and usually it's used like a buzzword. So we will be looking at a particular book, and books for strategic management are either written for MBA or DBA. I mean, you don't have a book written for DBA because at DBA level, you're expected to do research. So that's why it becomes a bit difficult, because while we are learning the basics of strategic management, at the same time, we want to make sure that you guys look at it from research point of view and just don't stay at the MBA level. Now, we will be looking at the PESTO framework, obviously, and we will do the 5 forces model, as well as we'll cover the various frameworks, SWOT analysis. We will again look at the corporate social responsibility, and we will look at some of the standard strategies that are out there. And obviously, finally, we'll look at innovation strategies, and we look at, issues related, should you go incremental or radical? What are the differences? Disruptive versus architectural, and we look at closed or open innovation approaches. So these are the issues we are thinking to look at, and hopefully we'll be able to provide you a good mix of both material. Student last time said, I wish we could talk more and professor talk less. I don't mind doing that. Actually, if I am sure that you're reading and you're doing your reading, so I would give you a chance to express yourself, because unless you express yourself, you will not be able to make sense if you really understand what's going on. And I do agree that it is through discussions and interaction throughout the class that one really gets to see where they have not really had a solid understanding or a foundation for what you need to do. Now, this class is essential. I don't care what you're going to do. Most likely you do need some sort of a strategic framework to achieve your dissertation, and or minimum you do need some sort of a strategic understanding of what you're about to do. So strategy, and what does strategy means? I mean, the word comes from the art that generals have, right? And I think strategists, and that's the art of a general, being able to foresee the future and win in a war that a lot of parameters are dependent on other factors, and it is your ability to be able to have a good understanding of your environment by scanning it, and be very careful about your weaknesses and your strength, to make sure that in view of what you have gained from opportunities and threats of scanning the environment, how would you be able to leverage your strength while covering your weaknesses to be able to achieve what you want to achieve. So from that point of view, I think this is, again, exciting, because if you really learn it, you're going to use it throughout your life. And also, it's going to be complex, because I am faced with the difficult task of making to a DBA course, while at the same time making sure that you have all the basics and fundamentals in place. So let's see what we can do with that. Now, let me take a few moments and just go through the course. So make sure you do watch this video, and I'm going to send you a message, and you will be receiving SMS from me that comes actually from the course, telling you what has happened, or if you've missed something or something's upcoming, look out for it. So issues like that. Now, as you know, this course is every Monday from 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Even though if you're an online student, I strongly suggest you attend the course, because you'll be amazed how much of a difference it would make if you are in a class and you can participate in discussions. And keep in mind, discussions are very, very dynamic. So depending on who is present, the course of discussions could vary. So your presence will add to the quality of our class. Now, definitely you want to take a look at the syllabus. Always take a look at the syllabus, because by doing that, you have an understanding of what the course is all about. And with that said, let me just quickly, again, I'm not going to go and read the syllabus, but the course is, again, this course is newly designed. It's hopefully you're going to like it. And I have tried to put it in a form that it meets and matches your requirement to be able to successfully prepare yourself to take on your dissertation. So we are going to look at issues related to industry performance differentials, looking at how one looks at resources, to see how one formulates strategies and how one actually implements strategies, and how do you even understand strategies, and how do you go about, and finally we will look at structural issues, especially looking at corporate governance and corporate social responsibility. Now, please make sure you do understand my philosophy, what you're expected to do. I'm not going to take too much time on that. Now, this place, sec.gov, especially their Edgar, that's what you need to be spending a fair amount of time in there, because in order to make sure that you have a good understanding of what this course is about, I'm going to take a look at Edgar very soon, or maybe I should do it right now, that way. We'll wait for it, I might forget. So if here, right here, I am looking at here at SEC Edgar, and I'm looking at Alibaba, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, I was looking at Alibaba. So you can see SEC publishes a lot of reports, and they're usually up to date. So you do need to understand what these reports are to be able to delve into them, be able to do investigations, to manage what you are required to do for your case studies. Yes, I am assigning case studies to you, so you will be required to take a look at those case studies. And I have made it even more exciting. So you will be looking at the group case studies from here going forward. So your case studies are group type. Now you can see you have learning engagements, which from here on, it's referred to as research engagement. I thought I did change it. It seems like I haven't done so. Let me look at it and see. Yes, I have not yet. Let me see, have I changed this to research engagements or not? No, I do need to go and change the wording. So anyways, back to what we're discussing. So these are going to be called research discussions. As you can see, there are two types of research discussions. One would be per student, and the other one is a group. You have been subdivided into 3 different groups. And when you do a group work, obviously you do not need to turn in your research discussions in time for Wednesday night. You have until Sunday night to be able to do that. Now, we have 5 quizzes. Now, the combination of 5 quizzes as well as the case studies will together guarantee that you have gotten the particular aspect that I have in mind related to your so-called book and understanding the fundamentals. So the combination quiz and case studies will guarantee that you have read your book, understand your book. Now, the other aspect, which is the research aspect, has to do with your research discussions and your obviously paper. And your final paper would be a paper that you choose the topic, you will justify it. You obviously need to have keystone papers. What I mean by keystone papers are at least 2 papers that you consider to be major and is the motivational paper for you to do your particular research paper. And based on that, you have to do literature review, you have to justify it. And obviously your final draft paper will be ready by week 5. Why week 5? People sometimes complain that, oh, by week 5, you're not ready. Guess what? No matter how much time we do, you're going to do it last minute anyways. By reality of what I have seen, by the time you finish your final paper, you have put all your thoughts into one paper that is almost your final paper. I was looking at the course that I'm running, even though I was traveling for a couple of weeks, so didn't have time to be able to provide ample feedback to everyone. However, by the time you get to your week 5, you should know what you want to write. And then actually you have 3 weeks to put some final touches to make sure that it is what you want to hand in. So, and to make sure that this works fine, you can see your workload. We start initially because I'm going to have some discussions. We're going to go over some of the issues of the class. So only one chapter will be covered in week 1, 2 chapters in week 2 and 3 and 4. And then from week 5, in which you do have to turn in your draft, you can see that the workload has been reduced to 1. So it gives you time again to be able to prepare your draft. So week 5 is very essential for you. And then obviously week 6, we pick up the pace just because now you have been given and you want to get ready for your case study too. So we do need to make sure that you've covered 9 and 10 to be able to do case study 2. And then finally, week 7 and 8, as you are preparing to finish your final paper, you're trying to put everything in perspective, will manage to also taper down the course content. This way, you will have a good feeling that you've learned something. So that's that. Make sure you do take a look at the latest syllabus. As I said, the only change you're going to see is going to have research discussions rather than learning engagement. I should have changed that. Now, back to what I was talking about. Make sure you guys get the book. Book is extremely important. Now, obviously, the book is from McGraw-Hill, and you need to have the latest version. Why the latest version? Because each version has different cases. Even these cases are pretty old as far as I'm concerned. For a DBA class, we should not be looking at things that has happened more than 2 years ago. And unfortunately, some of these cases here are pretty old. Now, what you see at the end of your book, something, you know, after you go through the chapters, the 12 chapters, you see something called mini cases. I have elected 3 of these mini cases and I have assigned it to different group. One would be Apple. Unless you guys disagree with the choice I have made, you guys can get together and say, no, we don't want Apple. Let's say we want Yahoo. Doesn't matter. It's a group choice. I assign it. If you don't like it, come back and tell me otherwise, and I will change it. So it's something that as a group, if you decide that my choice is not a good choice, then I'll be more than happy to adhere to your requirements. The other one is Alibaba, which I have chosen for another group to make sure that people are happy with understanding issues related to Alibaba, because Alibaba is a major undertaking. And there is another one about Amazon in India. Now, these are what we are looking at, and hopefully you will be able to make sense of it and have a good understanding based on what we've been we will be discussing. So that's the whole thing. Doing mini cases is very important. So in reality, we take one mini case and subdivide it to 2 parts. So the first part will be your case study 1, and the second will be case study 2. Just to know how to go about doing that, there is a place here that shows how you should conduct your case study analysis. So again, we're playing this exactly by the book. So I just have it in 2 different parts, and as such, it will be helpful. I will be discussing these cases in the class, and I will be giving you some time per group to be able to discuss this. I might go into breaking you into these different groups, or we might actually bring you together. So please make sure that you do read and understand what is required for you to be able to do your case study. So case study 1 is half of this, and case study 2 is the other half. So actually you'll be working on one particular company, and that company preferably should be publicly listed. So you can go to Edgar, from SEC, from the Security Exchange Commission, and be able to get data, because you do need to have a hands-on experience and dive into the actual details that companies are forced to provide. So that's that. Another issue, as you scroll down the course and you go, there are places that I have added some videos. There is a reason I add these videos. And one of them is for the fact that either you need it for a research discussion. Oh, good, I have put the right title here. So let's say if I expect you to do something in a research discussion, either I give you a paper or I might give you, so right here you can see this is the research discussion one. I'm just asking you to look at this automated driving strategy of Tesla, and to make sure that you have a pretty good understanding of that, I just provide you one. That's all I do, provide you one. Should you stay only with this one? No. In a way, the combination of what you read in a book, what you watch here, and what I have asked in a research discussion should get you going, but that doesn't mean you have to stop here. You do need to go and do your own research. And by the way, I brought issues that are pertinent to everyday life. So when you're out there in a party, when you're talking to friends, you do sound like a DBA student, someone who's very much involved in a detailed and complicated aspect of strategy. So you will not just be saying strategy, but you'll be actually discussing the strategic aspects of what's happening. I think you're going to find that's very interesting. As you know, already you've learned a lot of work packed into 7 weeks, because week 8 don't think about. Please start early. Please always be ready before coming to class. Don't forget your class is on Monday, so you have Tuesday and Wednesday to prepare for your research discussions. If it's a personal one and if it's a group one, you have plenty of time to prepare. I expect for you to learn more from group discussions and group activities than from a class. The class is where you come in to make sure that your understanding is appropriate and proper, and that's where we get to discuss with one another. As I said, if you've done your job, I'll be talking less and you'll be discussing more. This way you might benefit more. Now, some of you are talkative, some of you are introverted, you don't want to talk, but being involved in a discussion always helps to solidify. Now, I will be talking to you more. I'm looking forward to seeing each and every one of you on Monday, 5:30 p.m. I know some of you have opted to have an online course, but that doesn't mean you should not take advantage of being within a group. That's a good idea. It's my experience. When you participate in a class, you get a feeling for it, and you'll be amazed how much you learn from seeing other people discuss their issues. It might be yours, but stated in a different manner. Hopefully, you have found this particular introduction to your liking, and looking forward to seeing you all on Monday afternoon. Bye-bye.